You see, this is a guy, Chris Muchangwa. Look at the way he's responding. Look.
2030.
Right, so I'm seeing a lot of pandemonium when it comes to the sentiments by the vice president of Zimbabwe, who seems to be taking a shift of his message to be pro-people, pro the public. And a lot of people are saying, yes, go Chiwenga, go Chiwenga. Everyone is so happy. And I'm sorry to break it down to you like this, but this is just a facade. It's not real. It's something that actually happens every time there is a transition. Do you remember how ED got into power? Do you even remember when all of you were in the streets jumping because ED was going to be the savior of the country? Because they know that the current president or the incumbent president is not, at the good side of the people. Therefore, there is supposed to be the savior. Usually it's this role of a vice president that comes and he has to be the one that shows fraternity with the people, the poor people. He mentioned a lot of things. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play this clip, and for those who don't know Shona, I'm going to be translating some of the words that he says. Let's get on to it.
We all swore to a shared future in which everyone had a place on the table, a place in the sun for a culture of equal opportunity where every Zimbabwean served in equal measure. Zveubvanzu bvanzu kudya kwemhumhi takazviramba.
So what he's saying in Shona is that he is refusing the disorder within the governance. He is refusing the hocus pocus. He's refusing the brouhaha. That's how he said it, because it's a proverb in Shona. So
our vision 2030 is for all of us. Kwete dzamunoti mbinga kuhondo taidziti zvigananda.
So now he's taking a tour onto those called Mbinga in Shona, and in English these are just rich people, or you may call them oligarchs in the normal political sense or economic sense. So he is referring to rich people being hard-headed people. Certain rich people, not every rich person.
Those who grow big tummies through ill-gotten wealth and questionable morals.
Right. So let's go back to the real story here. So as you know, I've been covering a lot about a gentleman who has been giving out people cars. His name is Wicknell Chivayo. So Wicknell Chivayo is a shady businessman, and he does almost everything that is the name tender on it. So he takes tender, electoral tenders. He was even involved in Namibian politics and surrounding places in Southern Africa. So Wicknell Chivayo is more like a very corrupt individual. So he's been on a spree of giving people cars, different people, celebrities, and some people would think it's a buy-out for people to vote for whatever candidate he's running with. Now, before we get to the nitty-gritties of what I want to discuss, I want you to watch this certain video, and I want you to tell me what you think about it. This video was done by this gentleman, ZFN Capital. Quite a good platform. So with that, I want to play this clip because I want you to hear the words that have been said by the guy, Chris Muchangwa, a very loud-mouthed guy. And all of this is coming back to the point when I mentioned that there is factionalism going on, and it seems like people are arguing in between having a transition where Chiwenga becomes the president, who is the vice president, the guy that we saw first, and having the very guy who is at the table to go on with the third term, because it's been discussed here and there. And in a way, there's a suggestion that there is no one fit enough to take the reins from Emmerson Mnangagwa. But then there seemed to be a very, very tense atmosphere in the politics of Zimbabwe, because some people have a belief that the reason why Mnangagwa is adamant, or the people from Mnangagwa's camp are adamant to keep him on his seat, is because he has chosen people from his tribe to occupy certain positions within the party structure and also within the political and government structure. Hence, we are seeing a lot of murmuring in the background, whereby people are not quite impressed by the doings of Mnangagwa, but his homeboys and homegirls are literally eating at the top of the table. And this guy, Chris Mutsvangwa, will give you something. You will see the facial expression, you will see the way he even speaks. Okay, let me show you something. I want to show you this part of the video. Right? You can tell that there is some sort of disgust in his face. You see, this is a guy, Chris Mutsvangwa. Look at the way he's responding. Look.
2030.
He looks like he is irritated, and he seems to be so unhappy with the vice president. Anyway, this is not the point that I want you to listen to. I want you to listen to this interview, and believe you me, you'll get what I'm saying to say there is indeed factional conflicts within ZANU-PF. Now, listen.
He's a doer.
Yes. So that's
He's
not
much-
the intellectual.
That's why he has got smart. He is so intelligent that he cottons onto new ideas very quickly. And he analyzes the situation faster to find a solution. It's very practical. With the
Okay.
challenge during the
So
integration
if I get you, so you're saying Chiwenga becomes the Tongogara, and then
no,
Now listen carefully.
Mnangagwa becomes the Chitepo.
there's no way you can try to make those comparisons.
Hey, help us.
No. You see, you got to understand the capabilities are different. Tongogara is among African military geniuses.
No, we're saying in 2008.
No, I wouldn't. No, you see, no, I wouldn't. This is
You wouldn't. Okay, so how would you
no.
put it across? How would you put the dynamism between Tongogara and Chitepo? Because you're saying we then had that in 2008.
Yes.
So who are the two?
Mnangagwa basically recalls the political commissars from Chitepo College
Okay.
after the crisis of 2008. So
Okay.
those political commissars who had been politicizing the people, organizing the people, and organizing the army during the war, he calls them back. And I was the vice principal.
So
of
he
Chitepo
marries
College.
the two, the military and the ideology,
He brings-
into
yes,
one office.
Into one office.
And that's in 2008.
That's 2008. That's where the revenge of the guerrilla, of the war veterans, because the party had essentially run aground because of ideological poverty
Okay.
and organizational incapacity. But now with the crisis, the Western countries were now saying we can use the white farmers to.
Right. I don't want to go on with this interview, but I want you to see that this did not probably go well with Chiwenga. My assumption is probably Chiwenga was not impressed by the utterances of Chris Mutsvangwa, and indeed Mnangagwa came back and he responded. There must be a video. Let me show you the video.
Comrades, at this stage of our political development and with the maturity of our revolutionary party ZANU-PF, it is disheartening to note the unbecoming levels of mudslinging and other counter-revolutionary tendencies, including the broadcasting of party issues on social media platforms. This is most unfortunate. These acts continue to cause discord and confusion among the membership base. No one who loves the party must put our party into disrepute. This is unacceptable. Such behavior cannot be tolerated and it must stop.
Now, I really get the reason why you guys are celebrating. I understand most of us are celebrating because we believe that maybe Chiwenga is just going to be pro-people as how he sounds. Chiwenga sounds so democratic, sounds so human, sounds so nice and for the people, pro-people. And we love such a president and we love such hope. But the honest truth is, nothing is happening. Let me be frank with you. If Chiwenga comes in, it's just going to be a continuation. Now, on this video, the war vets as well, who seem to be more on the Chiwenga faction or side, have issued a stern warning to Emmerson Mnangagwa directly. Now, I want you to listen to this, and I can tell you this. These guys might be fighting in the background without actually facing each other. One is using his third term as a threat to whatever arrangement they had before the coup, right? And the other one is using the war vets and those who are disgruntled, including you and I, the public, to hoodwink the system to threaten an insurrection, if that is possible in Zimbabwe. And I can tell you this, it's highly possible because we've got the military involved, and Chiwenga is a former military. Even though things are not quite clear enough, you can tell that there's something happening in the background. Now, this is a footage of the war veterans issuing a warning to Emmerson Mnangagwa.
I am Blessed Rudness Ugeza, a war veteran, ZANU-PF Central Committee member, and patriotic Zimbabwean, whose commitment to a prosperous and democratic motherland is unparalleled. Today, I'm accompanied by fellow patriotic Zimbabweans who fought in the trenches, commanders from both ZIPRA and ZANLA, who fought in the trenches to liberate this country from the brutal minority white colonial rule. These comrades are well-known fighters from both ZANLA and ZIPRA, as I've said. We fought in the second Chiwenga with the hope of bringing economic emancipation, freedom, and justice to our fellow brothers and sisters and future generations. Sadly, these values and aspirations, which we carried as we fought during the war, continue to evade us 44 years after independence. The majority of black Zimbabweans remain poor, jobless, and without real freedom, as a few black leaders have assumed the face, character, and elements of the very beast we fought against in the 1970s.
Now, a few weeks back, I got a bashing over my assumption that Ian Smith's government, yes, as evil as it was, honestly, it is a reflection of today's society in Zimbabwe, because we just have a few black leaders who are running the country down the rabbit hole. And as you can see, this man is candidly saying what he's saying because he understands the fact that our country is not in a good shape. And this guy is not a stranger to politics. This is a war veteran. He fought in the trenches. He is not just a normal person. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to this, how then do you come for my head when I insinuate that the situation is just the same, if not worse?
War of liberation. The press conference is being held with the aim of mapping a way forward and addressing these imbalances, which for long have been neglected or ignored. In particular, it's a special message to Emmerson Mnangagwa, a nationalist who in 27 was brought to power through the help and support of war veterans and the general population of Zimbabwe via Operation Restore Legacy. In general, we also address corrupt gangsters and hangers-on who surround him and abuse national resources for selfish reasons. This man and those around him have failed us. He has failed all Zimbabweans who believed that the events of 2017 would bring an end to despotism, corruption, and privatization of the nation and its people. He is now nearly 10 years in power, but corruption, cronyism, and nepotism have escalated under his rule to extents never seen before in this country. Fellow Zimbabweans, allow me to elaborate on this direct allegation.
This guy is angry. Fellow Zimbabweans, he is angry, and he's right. Honestly, everyone is angry at the way the country is being governed. Let me say it on record. This is just a fraction of how people are feeling. People are disillusioned by the government system. People are not happy with the government. Hence, I understand his rage.
Against Mnangagwa, which demonstrates that he has failed this nation constitutionally, morally, and historically. Attack against war veterans. Emerson Mnangagwa, on assumption of power, he showed that he was a man who had learned nothing and forgotten nothing. He forgot the roots of his power on day one, and instead of correcting the mistakes of former President Robert Mugabe, he instead went about to prove to all of us that Mugabe was actually a saint.
Right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to finish this speech. If you want, you can find it on HSTV. And with that, I want to just give you my outro. And I can tell you this. There is nothing to be happy for. There is nothing to be happy about. It's just two lions fighting in the same den. You are just the tools or the apparatus to either or. You are used to gain access to the leadership. That's what's going to happen. And Zimbabweans, as usual, we are always hoodwinked to believe that if a person says the problems that you meet day by day, then it means you are seeing a good leader. Acknowledgement of the bad does not mean that means that person is a good leader. Emerson Mnangagwa came into power and he promised us, a fair justice system. He promised us jobs. He promised us electricity. He promised us water. And what has that gotten us into? Because we supported him. We got into the streets and we supported his idea because he knew how to use the public. And now the Operation Restore order is orderless. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be frank and be honest. If you follow either sides, whether you're following the war vets and Chiwenga or you're following Mnangagwa and the current government system, you can choose to do so. But the honest truth is, ZANU-PF as it is a cancer that needs to be uprooted from our systems. Nothing more, nothing less. Let them fight and let the citizens stay away from it because we have nothing to do with it. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, and I am Tafadzwa. I want you to subscribe if you can. I want you to follow. And until next time, thank you.